I think it is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. If something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor. Some people don't like change, but you need to embrace change if the alternative is disaster. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. Persistence is very important. You should not give up unless you are forced to give up. I think there's a real physical rule that things that can be invented will be invented. I would like to die thinking that humanity has a bright future if we can solve the sustainability problem and set ourselves on a path to becoming a multiplanetary species. That will be really good. You have to have a mentality that you really are right, that you really want to succeed. I think the best advice is to constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. People work better when they know what the goal is and why. It is important that people look forward to coming to work in the morning and enjoy working. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better. I'm always optimistic, but I'm also realistic. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I don't worry about failure. I just don't want to be the one who didn't try. I believe there's a driving force to pursue the truth, or at least a better understanding of the universe. I do think that's one of the great things about science fiction, is that it inspires people to think about the possibilities of science and technology. There's a tremendous bias against taking risks. Everyone is trying to optimize their ass covering. I don't think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to become extraordinary. I think the goal of humanity should be to increase spacefaring civilization. I think there is a possibility of a significant risk on Earth-based civilization. I think we should be very careful about artificial intelligence. If I were to guess at what our biggest existential threat is, it's probably that it's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. I think life on Earth must be about more than just solving problems. It's got to be something that inspires you. Starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people behind it as the product they sell. Brand is just a perception, and perception will match reality over time. Sometimes it will be ahead, other times it will be behind. But brand is simply a collective impression some have about a product. I think most people can learn a lot more than they think they can. They sell themselves short without trying. The path to the CEO's office should not be through the CFO's office, and it should not be through the marketing department. It needs to be through engineering and design. If you get up in the morning and think the future is going to be better, it is a bright day. Otherwise, it's not. Any product that needs a manual to work is broken. I don't create companies for the sake of creating companies, but to get things done. When Henry Ford made cheap, reliable cars, people said, "Nah, what's wrong with a horse? That was a huge bet he made, and it worked. You get paid in direct proportion to the difficulty of problems you solve. It is possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary. My mentality is that of a samurai. I would rather commit seppuku than fail. I'm interested in things that change the world or that affect the future, and wondrous new technology where you see it and you're like, wow, how did that even happen? Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. People should pursue what they are passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in 80 to 100-hour weeks every week. This improves the odds of success. If others are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve. I didn't come into this world thinking, what will make me wealthy? It's more, what can I do that I love? What's worth doing? You want to be extra rigorous about making the best possible thing you can. Find everything that's wrong with it and fix it. Seek negative feedback, particularly from friends. I don't spend my time pontificating about high-concept things. I spend my time solving engineering and manufacturing problems. I always invest my own money in the companies that I create. I don't believe in the whole idea of just using other people's money. I don't think that's right. I'm not going to ask other people to invest in something if I'm not prepared to do so myself. The first step is to establish that something is possible, then probability will occur. Patience is a virtue, and I'm learning patience. It's a tough lesson. I think it's important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. The normal way we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. If you're co-founder or CEO, you have to do all kinds of tasks you might not want to do. If you don't do them, the company won't succeed. No task is too menial. Talent is extremely important. It's like a sports team. The team that has the best individual player often wins. But then there's a multiplier from how those players work together and the strategy they employ. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. Starting a company is like baking a cake. You have to have all the right ingredients in the right proportion.